women, we don't. We get trained a different way. Whether it's cultural or just general society or just our own experiences. We carry this. We have to work extra hard, and then once we achieve it, even it takes us to real awareness to be able to revel in the success. Financial education and goals are similar to if you work out. Like when you go talk to a trainer, they're going to ask you, what do you want to get out of this?
Yes.
Because they're so tailored to you. And that's literally everyone's conversation with your financial advisor or a financial advisor. It has to be tailored to you and what you want. Most Latino women, particularly our older generation Latino women, they know how to make ends meet, but we don't know how to save and plan for the future, most of us. I have financial security for myself, and I'm then able to help my family. And I think that when we can start thinking that way of putting the mask on ourselves first and then helping the other person, and I think for women, it becomes a place where you don't have excuses anymore. There are no reasons to stay.
Hola, hola. Welcome back to Café con Pam, the bilingual podcast that celebrates the power of our stories, the medicine in our voices, and the magic of reclaiming who we are. Esta semana, I'm sitting down with someone I was not expecting to like as much as I did. And I say this in the best possible way por muchas razones. Her name is Edna Mariñelarena, which I love her last name. It's like a whole tongue twister. I was not expecting either. Edna is a vice president of business development at Moody's Ratings, one of the most recognized financial rating agencies in the world, where she spent over 10 years, the last 15 years, becoming an expert in how money moves through infrastructure, utilities, public finance, and the institutions that shape entire communities. Edna también sits on the board of Savvy Ladies, a nationally recognized nonprofit that has served over 25,000 women with free financial education and one-on-one financial helpline available in both Inglés y en español. Because yes, nuestras mamás, las tías, las abuelitas, everyone deserves access. And we know Savvy Ladies. They're an annual sponsor también. Edna is Mexican-American. She grew up in Phoenix, and you'll hear all of that in her story. She's going to tell you that. And the other thing that I found fascinating is that she's not a numbers person, which probably is the most important thing she says in the entire conversation, because the fact that she can say that and still build financial security from scratch, then she is showing us through modeling que tú también puedes, ¿no? Este episodio, of course, es presentado por Savvy Ladies. And Savvy Ladies, you already know all the things they do. Super important to make sure you check out their free financial helpline, which connects you directly with a certified financial advisor. This is someone who will listen to your actual situation. No judgment, no sales pitch, and you can call in or chat as well in Inglés y en español. They also have a spending calculator on their website that can help you see exactly where your money is going, and you can start building a plan from there. Whether you just got your first real paycheck or maybe you got a bonus and have no idea what to do with it. All you have to do is head over to the link in the show notes where you can see all of the resources that they were so generous to provide. Y claro que sí, send it to your primas, to your mom, para quien tú creas que le va a servir, porque they're like really, really cool resources y son gratis, que es lo mejor. En este episodio, you're going to learn why Latinas carry the financial floor of their families, what it actually costs us to do that without ever asking for anything back. We're also going to explore how to unlearn the idea that asking for more or negotiating the offer letter or setting the terms or claiming what you're worth, because we know you're worth like so much, is somehow ungrateful. We're going to talk about money as a tool for freedom, besides building it, but actually letting yourself keep it, because there's a difference between abundance and prosperity. And I think we talk about abundance so much, but we actually need to talk about being prosperous. There's a big, big difference, and I have feelings on that. So, if you've ever sent money you didn't quite have because you couldn't imagine saying no, maybe you've signed something without negotiating because you were just grateful they picked you. Or maybe you felt embarrassed that you work in a world full of numbers and still don't fully know how to make your money work for you. Este episodio es para ti. Y bueno, sin más, here's my conversation con la increíble Edna Mariñelarena. Pero es Mariñelarena. Wow.
Mariñelarena. Yeah.
It's like, what's the heritage of it? Have you explored it?
It's high level explored. It's from the Basque Country in Spain. And my heritage, I'm Mexican, so Mexicana. And so we're from Chihuahua, my family. And but I every now and again I think about like doing one of those like rooting back to see where it officially comes from.
Yeah.
But it's very unique. And I don't know if this is a side note, but there's a senator now in Arizona. He was Mariñelarena. Now he is Gallegos.
Por?
He changed his name for reasons, personal reasons. He was brought up by his mother, who's a Gallegos, and his dad had little to do with it. But I knew him as Ruben Mariñelarena Gallegos, and I'm like, oh look, he's a cousin,
primo.
you know, his primo. But I'm actually a big fan of him now, and so you know, I kind of, even though he doesn't go by Mariñelarena, I'm like, somos primos.
I know. Well, I'd never heard it before, and I grew up in Mexico City, so it's like very, very unique.
My family is in Chihuahua, so probably Chihuahua. So that's you know, you probably could come across, well, at least my family for sure.
Right.
They're all there.
Right. That's awesome. So you've already shared your heritage, Mexican American, and you were born here and raised.
I was not, actually. I was born in Chihuahua, Mexico, and my parents moved to Phoenix in the 80s. And you know, I came with them. I was you know, I was 2 when I got here. So technically I wasn't born in Phoenix, but Phoenix growing up, that's all I knew. The US is all I ever known, really, as a culture and as a home.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, now as an older, in particularly because of my career, I've learned and want to learn more about my heritage and be very proud of it.
For sure. I mean, there's a lot. So you are the youngest of 3. So you're a youngest. But I think, have you heard of the concept youngest eldest?
I have not, actually. But it does feel fitting.
Yeah. Because there's this whole thing about eldest daughters, you know, that are like, even when there's an eldest son, and then the second one is the daughter, she's the eldest daughter. And so the son is like, déjalo, you know, like he's with his family, but the eldest daughter becomes a caregiver, et cetera, et cetera. Are you the youngest of 3, 2 boys?
I'm actually the youngest of 3, and exactly what you just described, male, female, and then another girl. So yeah, I'm the youngest.
Okay.
So I'm the second girl.
Yes. So from what you shared earlier or in your questionnaire, you somewhere along the way, you became the financial floor for your family. And I'm curious about, how did the realization happen? When did you realize I'm the floor these people are walking on?
You know, it kind of happened more because of our parents, right? I think growing up, I always saw my parents as givers. You know, they were always giving to others, helping other people, but they never were helping themselves. They never were ones to really save and take care of themselves. And as I got older, and you know, I knew I always needed to go to college. I knew that I wanted to do well for myself. Of course, the older siblings started having their own families and doing their own life. and there was always a tug for me personally to always, care for my parents. Um, and I think then once I finished grad school and secured, I still remember the first time the offer letter that I got for the company that I work in. The it was They gave me the offer, and at the time I'm like, oh my god, this is way more money than my parents have ever made together combined, their income combined.
Wow. What happened in your body?
I kind of froze. Like my gut just seized up a little, like I mean, I still feel it even now. Like even my breath just kind of tightened up because I do remember that number being just so much bigger than I had ever thought. And then, yeah, like more numbers than my parents have ever seen.
Mm.
And that was when I guess I knew, okay, this is the beginning of what I know I want to do for them, right? I wanted to, at the time my parents were, what, this was almost 20 years ago, so uh, late 60s, 70s. Oh no, sorry, younger, like 50s, 60s. And so they never had a house, they were always renting. And I just knew that, hey, I need to secure a house for them so when they get older, it'll be easier for me to take on the payments. And I guess that was really the beginning without even hindsight, without even thinking about it. It was just like immediate action. Okay, I'm making some money. I got to secure their future to protect me somewhat, um, and it was thankfully, thank God, in 2012, I was able to buy a house that could afford my parents a good, stable living. And since then, they've kind of been under my purview, right? Like they've been, I've been caring for them in that way. And you talk about my older sister. She has always physically been with my parents since I moved. So I moved to New York, and my sister stayed and with her kids. And so then it became, now that my parents are older, they're in their late 70s. My sister is the one that physically cares for them, and then I'm the one that financially can help, meet the need in a moment.
There's so much to unpack there.
Yeah.
Because I'm very curious. Like, one, I have so many questions, of course, but did you buy them a house before you bought one for yourself?
Yes. And to that point, I rent even now. I don't have
Mm.
my primary home is a rental in New York. It was a rental apartment. Um, and as a matter of fact, I think for the better part of, once I was making good money, I was, thankfully, I found a rent stabilized apartment in New York, and I stayed there for almost 15 years,
Wow.
because I knew that that was financial security for me in a very high cost of living city,
Yeah.
that was affording me the lifestyle that I like, but also it's a high cost of living city. Then I secured a property for them. Um, and then once, their health started to deteriorate, it's not as, they're older, right? They can't work.
Mhm.
I was able to take over the brunt of the financial, right? The housing, just the house and such.
And I think this is a very unique experience for Latinos and people of the global majority of the children just kind of taking that responsibility role of like, well, you raised me, and now I'm going to finish raising you in a way by like buying you a house. But I'm curious for you, like I want to explore also the offer letter, but as you were like, okay, now I'm making the money that allows me to buy them a home. Was this something you did for love? Was it an obligation that you felt? Was it proof of something? What led you to do it, like, beyond the, like, cultural thing?
I wish I could say it was just pure love. um, but through therapy, I felt the tug of obligation. I felt the tug of, in, in an unraveling the real feeling of the word escapes me, but I have to help my parents because I'm making more money, right? The guilt.
Wow.
Yeah. And initially, because again, it was a big number, and I felt the guilt of like, oh my gosh, I'm doing really well. And my parents, they couldn't help me. So I'm first generation in almost every aspect of everything, right? And they couldn't help me, walk me through the schooling. They couldn't help me with my school. They couldn't help me, but they allowed me to live in their house for pretty much free, and my mom fed me, so it was that part of like, yeah, I have to help. They helped me get to where I am, so I have to help them. So what it was initially, I have to admit, it was guilt and the the tug of needing to help.
Mm.
Um, but as I've matured and have unraveled again through therapy a lot of the emotion and feelings, um, and healed, that little girl, I recognize that it was still rooted in love, right? Because I now can say that I love my parents, for who they were, and I see a lot of their strengths have made me who I am today. They weren't perfect. No one's perfect. They didn't have a good strong playbook themselves. They could only be the parents that they could be in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I can say this now that my parents were not emotionally available to me when I was a little girl, right? And then as I got older, it was the gap between our life's experiences was getting bigger and bigger. And then who I am today, my mom doesn't understand.
Yeah.
But I think in the end, I think it is our culture teaches us to honor our parents. And this was definitely one way that I could do that for them, to secure and have, in their older life, give them that dignity,
Mm.
that we all deserve, right, as human beings. And I'm very, very grateful. And I count that as one of my blessings that I can be a part of that, right? My sister does it in her way, and then I do it in my way. And together it's, family.
Yeah. So good. And I think a lot of people resonate with that story because it's close, It's like I was 21 when I bought my first house and I gave it to my mom, Like it
Yeah.
was like one of those things that you're like, I mean, what's there to do other than get back to your parents who worked so hard and cross borders to bring us here?
So, yeah,
That narrative that it's very unique to us.
it is.
Like I've tried to explain this to my partner and he's like, I mean, I see you, but I don't get it?
And it's funny because even in therapy, even though my therapist is Latina, she's Dominican, we resonate that's why I have her, because we kind of talk it out in the Latino way. I, Even when she said, but through her healthy mechanisms, she'll tell me, you don't have to.
Right.
And I'm like, but I do. Like, you say that, and I understand why you're saying that, but now I have to. And then now I think more so. I still have daddy issues, right? There's still some resentment there with my dad.
Yes.
um, I think though I have more grace for my mom because I know what it's like to be a woman in this world,
Mm.
and I can only imagine what it was like to be her in her in the way that she grew up, in the time that she grew up, right? And so I do have more grace for my mother, and these days I see her and I see that little girl. Similar to, I take care of the little girl, my little girl, and now I'm like, well, if I can also care for her, that's why I have to. Like, I can't leave her behind.
Totally. It's one of those like sharing is caring?
Sharing is that's right.
Like
Care
it's
Bears.
just so within us.
And
Like,
as women, you kind of have that motherly
right.
feeling too.
I mean,
Yeah.
data shows when women make money, communities get better.
Absolutely, yes. That's 100% true. We all, and the data shows it that we are the number ones to reinvest it into our family, our community. We're the first ones to give.
Yes, 100%. And I see it so often in so many ways, from women saying yes to, like, sponsoring me, for example, or more so than, like, investment. Men and women invest very different. It's just fascinating. That's a whole side note, but yeah, so it makes sense.
I like to say we invest with our gut,
Mm,
because we kind of get a sense of like, uh, this matters to me. This matters to the community. This is going to make things better, and I may not see the return right away or even financial return, but if it's a return holistically, and I could see how men are more on the ROI, on the numeric, you
right.
know,
I
statistics,
mean,
and
the matriarchy and the patriarchy, you know?
that's another episode, I think.
That's a whole other episode. But I wanna go back for a second on your offer letter because you mentioned receiving the offer letter and feeling your body kinda like, "Oh, this is more money than both my parents ever made, and I'm gonna make this in a year," like, OMG. And I'm curious, like, before you received the letter, was there a negotiation that happened?
There was not.
Oh, so you coulda made more money in that.
Yes, hindsight, yes. The lessons you learn, and being a first generation in the moment, I received the offer, um, and I just was just grateful that I was even being offered the full time opportunity.
Yes. Calladita culture right there.
Yay, Galletita culture. I was like, oh, I'm so grateful. Oh my gosh, muchas gracias. Oh, you're not going to regret this, I promise.
I'll
Um,
be your hardest worker.
I'll be your hardest worker. And I meant it, right? Like it was all true. And I just was like, you can't mess this up. Like this cannot, you have to, don't ask questions, sign the letter before they take it away, even like,
Wow.
maybe they'll take it away if you don't sign it quick enough, if you don't do whatever they're telling you to do, just sign it right away so that they don't take this away, because this is a great
Oh my
opportunity.
gosh.
Yeah, and I have to say, even once I signed the paperwork and I went in the first day, I show up, and HR takes you to a conference room to fill out all the paperwork, whatever. I was still like, is this a is this a dream come, like, is this a dream? Am I dreaming? Am I gonna wake up and be like, oh no, this is all a dream?
Just kidding.
Just kidding.
It's real.
Yeah.
That feeling is very real. I mean, it happens to me often. It happened to me when Savvy Lady said yes to sponsor me. I was like,
Yeah.
is Judy like, does she, like drink something and like, you know? And she signed the contract and I was like, wait, is this still a glitch? Like, am I still glitching here? Like, why would someone want to pay me to do this?
Yeah.
And so I think that feeling of surprise and I mean, I think it's deeply rooted in worthiness, because we haven't seen the models.
Yeah.
We haven't witnessed it firsthand of someone being like, yeah, it's normal. And I often like my person's a white man, like he's at the top of the totem pole. And so it's really interesting to see him navigate the world and like it's just like, of course, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, like, wait, what? I have to take a double take and I have to, and for him, it's just like, which I learn a lot from. And I think I want to also acknowledge that I benefit from that privilege, by proxy, but it's still real that we feel it so much when we get those like
Absolutely.
jumps in career and pay and all the things.
I think because we've never seen it before, it's not so prevalent in our, well, we're the first ones, right? And we don't see it ahead of it. And who we do see are white men, um, white women, but even white women carry oh, this can get taken away from me. I
Totally.
have to work hard. Like we all, it's, and then, you start kind of bifurcating it all in some way, like men of different ethnicities as well carry a different level, but men, just by men, get certain just privilege,
The
right?
pass.
And
They
yes,
get a whole pass the moment they're born.
that's right. And we women, we don't. We get trained a different way. Whether it's cultural or just general society or just our own experiences. It's we carry this. We have to work extra hard, and then once we achieve it, even it takes us real awareness to be able to revel in the success. I think I had to really. I still struggle with like, oh, I succeeded. Immediately my brain wants to say, oh, let me move on to the next thing, but then I have to be mindful and say, no, you get to celebrate this win. Let's do
Sit with
something.
it.
You
Yes.
sit with this. You worked hard, like congratulate yourself. Like it's okay to be that. And yeah, I mean, honestly, and now talking this through, like I don't think I ever really celebrated that letter, that initial offer letter, right? Like it was like, oh man, let me just hurry up and prove myself that amount that they're not, that they didn't make the wrong decision. Let me prove myself.
Yeah, there's so much. And I think also the race to quote make it, that's never ending. And the gatekeeping also. Because, the fact that we don't have a lot of models that look like us. And then it's happened to me various times. Less, I think more and more people are waking up and understanding that, el sol sale para todos and like there's room for everyone. But I'm pretty sure you witnessed this before in your career, and please do share of like I had people literally tell me you have to earn your stripes. And I'm like, bro, but like you're already there. Just give me a chair.
Right? Oh man, and then that makes it even worse if you say something like that because they're like, "Oh no," they get offended. How dare you even ask me that?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard. What was the one when I first started working? I was told, "Oh, you just need to get tough skin."
Yes. Develop your own tough skin.
Yeah, you're just too sensitive. You got to get tough skin, and you just, yeah, you do. You have to pay your dues. Um, you're too much. I've heard that you're too much. Um, I think it comes differently. I'm also now recognizing it is also definitely generational,
Yes.
particularly for women. Um, I have learned to have grace for what I have coined boom Xers. So this is
Yes.
this is totally my mind. I make up words. Boom Xers. So this is the generation that's older Xers. So they're kind of close to the boomer, and maybe even mid Xers, right? Like, but because they grew up right under the boomer mentality and they got
Yeah.
dragged right
Going
by the
great.
boomers. And so you meet someone that some of them are good, right? And I'm not saying this, I'm not generalizing, but the ones that I have met, I feel like, particularly women of that generation, they had to go through a lot to be in the room, and they took a lot of stripes, and they became hardened and in some cases bitter, and they closed the door behind them. Some of them, they want to be the only woman in the room. Others only allow the ones that they want in the room.
Yes, the clicks.
Clicks, the mean girl clicks never go away, sadly. And then then you have the ones that just really don't care, and they just are like, "Do you, man? Like, don't get me involved. I just want to stay quiet. I'm almost retiring. Like, leave me alone." And so I've worked with all of those women, right? And every now and again, and I have to say, I can count on one hand how many, particularly Latina women, I have met that actually have taken me under their wing and helped me develop me professionally. As a matter of fact, I feel like Black women have been kinder to me.
Right? I had a conversation about this with somebody that said, "Who's been your biggest supporter?" And I said, "Hands down, Black women."
Black women. I cannot even, I think all of my mentors, personally and professionally, have been Black women. It wasn't until just recently that I had Afro Latina who we just clicked immediately. As soon as we met, we clicked, and she is of Exer kind of older, so I was able to glean from her, and she was freely giving me, wisdom and knowledge, right? And that was like the first time that I felt like a Latina could see me, because we had a very similar uh, culture, right, from the Latino side. But particularly, and if I'm being very blunt here, I particularly white Latinas, right? They're not very kind. They're not forgiving. They are very cliquey.
Yeah.
I have never found a white Latina kind to me. Um, and to me, now that I'm in my mid career, that is my biggest, like, number one thing. Be kind to the juniors, teach them, show them. Anybody who has a question, this is a safe space for me. Like, I may not even know the answer, right? Because I'm first generation. I'm still trying to figure it out myself, but this is a safe space and we can figure it out together. And then I'm also offering, like, I'm that person that will give you advice without even asking it. Yo, like, let me tell you, because this corporate America right now, like, um, that's my mission in life, right? I think it's why I also, for women particularly, I want to see more women in finance. I want to see more women in the rooms that I enter too many rooms still in 2026, too many rooms where white men are dominant, and the one white woman is the diversity hire.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
And you were there as like the dot.
yeah. I used to be a rating analyst in my, and now I do relationship management. So I'm very grateful that my company does believe in diversity and inclusion. And, we have, but there's still times where I walk in and yeah, our customer is a room full of white men, and
Whoa.
you just gotta speak the language, right? You just have to. I do truly believe, though, something that we don't do naturally or doesn't happen to us naturally as women is something you just have. It's got to click at some point in your career. You got to get over that. You, to the point of like, oh, give me a seat at the table. No, no, no. If there's no chair, build it and come and bring your chair to the
I
table.
belong here.
I
Punto y
belong
se
here.
acabó.
Ahí se
Yes.
acabó. Yeah, like, because they're never gonna let you in. So just get in.
Yeah.
Just get in, and you
Yeah.
belong, and that's it. No.
Yeah. Some things that actually served me a lot, that one of my mentors once, a white woman, she said, "No one's coming to save you." Because I was like, "Well, there's no seat at the table for me." And she was like, "No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to set the table. No one's coming to put the seat. No one's going to come and ask you if you want it. You have to come and take it."
That's right.
And so I feel
And
you.
what are they gonna do?
Exactly.
What are they gonna do? Likely them tell you, no, you don't belong here, get out. Okay, that's worst case. Okay, then I'll grab my chair and I'll go to another table, right? But
Yeah.
they won't do that. They won't do that. They haven't done that. I've never experienced where I just sat at the table and then they told me I don't belong, like, outright. I've not experienced that, thankfully.
Good. I experienced somebody asking me to serve him coffee, but I was like, "You got
Well,
hands."
yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Like, "You got hands, sir. I'm not your secretary."
You know how you like it, so make it. Yes.
Yes. So, Edna, there's so much. Let's take a quick coffee break, and then we'll come back to what you do, the cost of all the things, and where are we with Savvy Ladies? What is Savvy Ladies? People have been listening a lot about Savvy Ladies for the last year and a half, which is super fun. But we'll talk about it in a second.
Sabrosura pa' ti que qué.
So, Edna, do you drink coffee?
I do drink coffee. Yeah, I'm a big coffee drinker.
Are you drinking coffee
Yes.
right now?
No, it's right now.
Oh,
I'm
I was
doing
like, it's late.
so but I do sometimes, and it's funny because I'll be like, you know what, I necesito un cafecito, and then I'll go in the kitchen and make my. And now because I'm older, I'm like, oh, it has to be decaf in the evening, right? It has to be
Okay.
decaf. But yeah, no, I will drink coffee all day. Yeah. How about you? Do you
I
drink
mean, of
coffee?
course, I drink coffee. I have been lately. I don't know if I want to. They could be a sponsor, but they. So this brand, I recently did querida. I hosted Querida Yo with Las Mamacitas, and they. I went like frantic with like emailing brands to give us product for the goodie bags, and so I mean, I was like, you know what? To the point that we were talking about, what do you have to lose? What are they going to say? They're going to say no. They're going to ghost me. Fine. So I sent literally at least 100 emails because I was like, this is 100, probably 10 will respond. Well, what's funny is that we got like 5 or 6 brands that were drinks respond. And so we had a lot of drinks. One of them was Pop and Bottle,
Oh,
which is a cold brew company, and they give like basically what you get is a concentrated bottle of coffee, and you can make it cold, you can make it iced,
yeah,
you can add like cold milk and ice, whatever, make it like a cold brew, or you can. I mean, I'm a purist, so I'm like coffee needs to be drank hot. Um,
that's right.
but their coffee is like it's really good. So I've been drinking the few bottles that we have left that were left over, and they're really good. So yeah, because it's not cold brew is tricky. So I used to brew when I was like back in the day. I used to brew a 24-hour cold brew, which is like strong, and but it's tricky to like the acidity. Like we're not gonna get into the intricacies of the process. But Pop and Bottle, I think they got it down. So
Yeah.
I might be a convert for cold brew now.
Okay. I will have to try it because I don't like my own cold brew to that exact point because I don't make good cold brew at all. I'm just going to be honest.
It's
I
tricky.
like
Cold
my
brew
coffee.
is an
Yes.
art.
I mean, even hot coffee is an art, right? So I'll
Yes,
have to try
indeed.
this. Yeah. I'll have to try
Yeah.
this.
So I had their Wicked, which is what they sent us, their Wicked bottle. I don't have it with me, but because it needs to stay refrigerated.
Oh, of course it does.
I drink it with oat milk and make like and it's so good.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh,
as someone who's been talking so much shit about like coffees to
cold
be
brew.
drank warm, I'm eating my words today. But how do you drink your coffee?
I am a purist too. Hot or cold. I like hot coffee. Like in the morning, it has to be hot coffee.
I know. Regardless, it could be hot.
Yeah, yeah. 120 degree out there. Yes, it has to be hot. Hot and humid in New York. Hot coffee in the morning.
Yes.
um, and then in the evening or afternoon, sometimes if I'm working, if I'm traveling or working, I definitely need a little bit of a pick me up. And at that point, I'm like, you know what? If it's hot, I'll probably do like an iced coffee, but usually from Starbucks or whatever brand in the city that's local. I do try to drink locals
Nice.
coffee as much as possible. Um, but yeah, and I have to say, I've also gotten into matcha. So the
Mm.
iced matcha, I drink it better in the afternoon. So that'll be my little treat if I'm traveling.
Yeah, it's less caffeine.
Yeah, and I guess it's the sugar probably.
Yes. It also tastes good, yes.
It does taste good. But no, I'm a purist. Hot coffee in the morning.
Hot coffee in the morning. Okay, well, let's go back to the show because we have a lot to cover still, and we have like 20 minutes left. What's happening? If you've started making your cafecitos at home to get on with that morning routine and build the habit of saving money, it could be a good strategy. Pero there might be an easier way to save. Did you know that if you open a new savings builder account at BMO, you can earn a $5 reward every month you grow your balance by $200 or more during the first year. Learn more about how BMO can help you grow your savings by visiting bmo.com/save. bmo.com/save. Conditions apply. Accounts provided in the United States by BMO Bank and a member FDIC. Do you ever feel like money's supposed to make you feel free, but instead it just makes you feel like a fraud? Like, you should already know this stuff. Investing, retirement, debt. But you're still Googling, what's a Roth IRA like it's a secret society? Let me unmute that real quick. Savvy Ladies is a nonprofit that gets it, and they're not here to shame you. They're here to support you. They've got a completely free financial helpline where real humans, real experts give you answers without judgment. Whether you're navigating money wounds, dreaming of building wealth, or just trying to make sense of your paycheck, this is your safe space. No sales pitch, no confusing jargon, just real talk, real help, for free. Because financial confidence isn't just about numbers. It's about knowing you're not alone anymore. Head over to savvyladies.org to learn more. That is SAVVYLADIES.org. We were talking about your career, and did you always know you wanted to be in the numbers industry?
No. And as a matter of fact, I will be 100% admit I am not a numbers person. I cannot do math in my head for the life of me. I cannot. I always have to pull out an Excel sheet or a calculator to do the number. But I knew I wanted to, so I went to grad school in New York, and that's what moved me to New York. And while I was in grad school, I was looking for a job, and I knew I wanted to I did a master's in public administration, and I focused in finance and policy because I'm a policy nerd. I like following policy and government. Sadly, the news, yes, I'd still follow
Yeah,
the
I'm
news.
like, oof.
I'm a glutton for punishment, I guess.
Yeah.
And so knowing that, my last semester in grad school, I took a class, and it was a debt finance class. And so debt finance basically is how entities, whether it's a corporate or a municipality or a government, a school district or whatever, that's how they finance construction projects. So the new school that went up in your neighborhood, or the new library, or the new firehouse, they'll issue debt to the market being investors. And so somebody needs to tell these investors who the credit quality, like you and I, we have a credit score. There's that for companies as well. And so the class that I took, debt finance class, the professor had worked at one of the rating agencies. He talked very in depth about them, and I really just I liked that I could bridge finance and policy and government into one job, it seemed like. And so that's what got me in tune to, I guess, bonds, rating bonds, debt finance kind of work. And so that got me into the company I work for, one of the rating agencies. And immediately I can't say that I'm not going to say I was 5 years old and I knew I wanted to rate bonds, but like immediately I knew I was in the job that I really was going to enjoy, because I'm very by nature just a very curious and intellectually stimulated person. Like I really like academia and just like, just learning.
Yeah.
And this job really does
Tickle
that.
the brain.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And, working for, I work for Moody's Ratings. I could say that. And working for Moody's, it's one of the rating agencies. You're sitting at the forefront of all the information, global information of knowledge and information, everything that's going on. And you're looking at it through the lens of credit risk and what could shock a market. And so anyway, it just snowballed from there as far as like my desire for just, knowledge and information. And so no, going to grad school, it was like, I just want to work for a government. And then I ended up in a role that I could use a lot of the skills that I learned in school, and then learn way more about the capital markets and how debt is used around the world.
Okay, so I think we need to pause because a lot of people may not know that this exists.
Yes.
So let's say that I am a school, a public school, and my funds come from the city.
Yes, so a school is actually funded by property taxes. So the homeowners
Property taxes.
so the homeowners that own their houses, whether it's a corporation or a individual, you own your home, you get a tax bill every year. Part of that payment that you make to the county, part of that money goes to fund the school district.
So that's why better neighborhoods have better schools.
Yes, the more homeowner neighborhoods tend to have better funded schools, because the other side of the formula for schools is that they're also funded by the state. So our individual income taxes, and for most states, some states don't have income tax, but most states will have some income tax. So part of that will go to education funding. So then that's how school districts are funded. And that covers their operations, the teachers, the pencils, the chalkboard, the computers. Most of the time, that's how those operations get funded. But how do you get funding for a new building, a new gym?
So let's say I'm the principal, or who makes that decision?
So it's usually the superintendent and the governing body of that school system. They'll be the planning, the finance director, the chief financial officer. They have those typical positions. So the budget, they'll work together to understand their enrollment trends and understand, what they're called as capital needs are. And so they'll know, hey, we need a new high school because the one we have is, the classrooms are really, really full, and we need to make room because we're also seeing a big enrollment trend coming. So
they need to make a case.
Yes, they'll need. Yes, so and then that's how the principal then also is like, hey, like my school is getting really full over here. Can you guys do something about it?
Okay.
But also, it could also be. It doesn't have to be a brand new school. It could just be general updates or a new computer wing, or whatever. Just paint the school. We need to paint it of some sort.
So because as a school in this example, I'm the superintendent, and I know that there's the state taxes or the state funds, and then the county, the property taxes, but that's maxed out to support the day-to-day operations. But we still need that extra gym. And so then we go where we need to do a debt. What is it called?
A debt or access the market, or a debt offering, a bond.
A bond.
Yes.
So then we go to a company like yours
Actually, first, I just want to make a quick, just generally speaking, but a quick caveat is, first you go to voting. So you make a plan, and then you go, because this is how government works. You make a plan, and then you go to your voters, so the people that are paying you the property taxes, and you tell them, hey, we really need money to.
So like City Hall?
Well, technically it's on the ballots. Like every November when we go to vote,
okay,
it's on the ballot. So technically it's the county, because you go to the county to get on the ballot, so that you and I, residents of this community, can say, yes, I approve that the school issue the bonds, because then I'm going to pay more money in property taxes for that bond offering.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then let's say that the people vote yes.
Yes.
And now we have the green light to start this. But now we need to find the money.
That's right. And so then through a whole bunch of different people and players, but they structure the deal. They basically prepare the documentation and all of this stuff that is legally needed to offer the debt. So basically what you end up doing is you're trying to offer the debt to financial institutions or institutional investors, which you're talking JP Morgan, you're also talking about Morgan Stanley, or the banks, the big banks that they tend to invest. Yeah, usually banks. And so before you can get to them, you have to come to at least one rating agency to say, hey, can you rate this bond? Tell us what the credit quality is based on your scale or your designation,
Parameters.
so
Yeah.
that we can tell JP Morgan, look, we're worthy
We're
of
worth
you
it.
invest. Yeah, we're worth it.
Wow.
We're going to pay you back, and then we can get a really good interest rate because we're really, really good. We're really like low risk, so you can give us a really good deal on this.
So then the rating agency, so you need to at least to go to one?
At least one. That's right.
And then so like why would you go to two or three? Because they could give you a better bond?
Yeah, sometimes depending on the size of it, like if you're talking like billions of dollars, you probably want to get two, almost three ratings, because then investors will say, okay, this is really a quality entity. They have all their ducks together. They're perfect. I should invest in them. If it's a smaller deal, usually one, maybe two are okay. But if it's a really small deal, usually one is sufficient.
And so the role of the rating agency is to say, yes, you have the stamp of approval that you're worthy of getting this money. And then I take it back to the big banks and I'm like, they gave me permission. Like they signed the permission slip, gave me the money.
Yes, in essence, that's yeah, pretty much. I mean, at this point, it's not that Moody's or the rating agencies to give a stamp of approval. They most more than anything just put a credit score on that bond, and they tell that score tells the investor, okay, this person is going to very likely pay me back, so I'm gonna assign this amount of interest rate. I'm going to give them a good deal on the interest rate. So, and then once that happens, then yep, they get the money up. They get the money, and then every year the school district, then it's like a mortgage payment. Every year, then the school district will pay that investor back the money that they borrowed.
The business of money is fascinating.
And that's a very simple, because
I
then you
know.
start talking about corporations, because every industry, if you want to access the debt market, the public debt market, you have to have a credit score, right? You have
Yes.
to tell investors how much, how risky you are, because they want to know if they're going to get paid back.
Yeah.
And if they want, and so then you start talking about a different lens. But if you're an investor, and you're thinking you want to lend money to somebody who is much riskier, you want to know how risky they are, and then basically how you as an investor make money is you're charging them a very high interest rate.
Wow.
Because they're very, very risky. And so there are different players in the game, right? And we play one role that sets kind of the risk level, and then investors can then price it, or this is called pricing, but basically set the interest rate from there. In so many words.
How long have you been in this industry?
I've been working in this industry now for about 15 years. Yeah, right out of grad school. And I've moved around. So initially, when I first started, I started working on the municipal side. So I would cover cities, counties, school districts. And then what really got me interested was, cities and counties, they own infrastructure, which like electric utilities, water and sewer utilities. And you get me talking about those. My gosh, the infrastructure, the amount of just engineering that it takes to produce power and produce clean water and safe water, and it's just, and the toll roads and the airports and all that, it's just fascinating. And so that is why I ended up staying, just because I just kept learning about different industries. And then I moved over to a different sector, and it's the corporate utilities. So these are investor-owned utilities that generate power and deliver natural gas to either a resident or a commercial or even an industrial customer. So these are the big utilities. And if you're here in California, it's PG&E like kind of utilities, and that was just my favorite because I got to learn so much about how electricity is made in the US and even globally, and just learn about how companies are doing a lot to be sustainable and move away from dirty fuels like coal, and even some gas. Here in California, we want more renewables, right? We want more wind and solar, and so I learned so much about that engineering, and it was just really fascinating to me.
Yeah, I bet. So, given that you've been in the industry for 15 years, how did your relationship with money shift? How has it shifted seeing like the game of money being played
Yeah,
at such scale in so many different ways from different angles?
yeah. It's oh man, it's been a journey. So initially, like I just was like, I'm working so I can get this really nice paycheck. But as you mentioned, you're seeing also the money being invested and moved around in the different players, and our personal finances isn't that much different.
Right.
It's just at a very tiny scale compared to these corporations. And so I think throughout the 15 years, I've had a hate love relationship.
Mm,
Um, because, and I think right now I'm in like I hate to love it because it's like, man, like money, if you have financial security, you have so much peace.
mhm.
But at our level, you have to work to have that paycheck. And so it's one of those things I'm like, I hate to work, but you know what? I love that money because I get to travel. So, um, and then I think I've learned so much just investing. Like, but when I started working, when I first got that offer letter, I had no idea what investing was. Like, I knew about it because of course I went to
Right.
school,
You hear
but
it.
you heard the words stocks and bonds, and I mean I was rating bonds, but I still wasn't like fully aware of like what the market really was in that moment. And so I just understanding that there was just this other world that I had no idea existed, or just saw it as something far away that I was like, oh, how do you get there? And then all of a sudden I found myself there. um,
Hmm.
and there was a little bit of and still to this day I think there's a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of embarrassment of like, I should know this stuff, I should know how to buy a stock, I should know how, how to make money work for me better. And
Mm,
but then that's where I think through understanding like, should there is no shoulds, right? You don't know what you don't know. um, and it's good to just continue learning. And so now I'm at a place where I'm very grateful that I have strong financial security. And I've learned to ask for or negotiate, for more,
yes.
because I am worthy of it, right?
Now the offer letter gets negotiated.
Now the offer letter gets negotiated. That's right. And I'm not afraid to ask for the big ticket, right? And see where we fall, right? And
Yes.
yeah, it's
How long did that take?
man, if I've been at this company, I've moved around. I think this is my fourth time. One, two, three, fourth time moving. I think it took me good almost 6, 7 years. So the first time I moved, I shyly was like, I gotta negotiate, and I asked for money, and they told me no. And I was like, oh, okay, well, all right. Well, I can I still have the job? And they're like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But you just can't get that much
Yeah.
more. And I'm like, oh, all right, cool. All right, cool. And that kind of just like made me feel much more comfortable asking again, right? Because I knew like, oh, this is part of the game. They know
Yes.
I should be asking for more. Okay, cool. So that once I think it's one of those things that once you do it once, it gets easier. And then I also learned just by hearing other people when you have these conversations, and particularly women, it's maybe salary isn't the only thing you negotiate. You
Mhm.
negotiate a different benefit package, maybe more vacation, maybe a sign on bonus, maybe, work from home now, right? Like whatever you can negotiate. almost anything.
Agreed, 100%. I think a lot of people still don't know that. My coaching clients, I talk to them about it all the time, and they're like, "Wait, I can negotiate like a paid vacation." Yes, ma'am, you can. Like,
Yes,
I can
yes,
negotiate like a car allowance because they're asking me to go visit clients. Yes, you can.
yes. Yes, you can. A corporate card. If you are doing
Yes.
anything on the company, make sure you get that corporate card.
Yeah, 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 and all of that adds up. So, yes, negotiate the offer letters. Okay, so let's talk about Savvy Ladies because you sit on the board of our friends from Savvy Ladies. And Savvy Ladies, let me see. So, Savvy Ladies was founded because a woman stayed in an abusive marriage because she couldn't afford to leave. And it was her granddaughter who asked the question of, "Why didn't you leave?" And the grandma said, "It's because I didn't have any money." And so she was like, "We need to change this narrative." And so for you as a board member for this organization, what's your calling to join it, and what do you want Savvy Ladies to shift and change?
Yeah. My, I had been wanting to sit on a board as as I matured in my career and matured in my financial health. And I just knew I'm very, education always calls to me, and, knowledge and education, because they can't take that away from you. What you learned, they can't take that away from you.
Mhm.
And so I knew I wanted that. And through a friend, I was connected to Savvy Ladies. And immediately, as soon as I went to their website, I mean, the mission of giving free education, free resources, free advice to women to empower them in their lives. Man, that is like just so the fact that we're still needing to do that today for women, it just speaks to why we need to do that today for women, right?
Yes.
Because to the point of like, I saw my mom, with my dad, right? Like it was both together, but my mom was the one that held the purse strings, right? At home, she was the one that budgeted. And most women, most Latina women, they are the ones that
90%,
have.
no?
Yeah, yes, it's almost 100, right? Yeah, exactly. It's every Latina woman is the one that handles the finances in their home. And not knowing how to, most Latino women, particularly our older generation Latino women, they know how to make ends meet,
Mm.
but we don't know how to save and plan for the future, most of us. And so I think for me it was more important, and I was seeing it created in myself, is I need to save money. I'm taking care of my parents, but I also need to save for myself and my future. And so that's what drew me to Savvy Ladies immediately. And just also because I do work in a job that allows me visibility to demographic changes and trends and statistics. Um, we are a growing block, not only on the voter side, but on our today, as of last year, the Latino economic engine is a $4.1 trillion economy. Like that's how much spending power we have. And I mean, if I don't, to put it in context, people keep saying that California is the fifth largest uh, country, if you
Economy.
will,
Yeah.
economy in the world. Um, 4.1 trillion is the GDP of California. That is what the Latino bloc represents. We represent like the whole state of California in the world. And so to see that amount of money that we are creating in the market, and to know that a big part of that is because women are the engine of that. I'm not dismissing our men. Our men are there as well. But more women these days are getting at their education. More women are getting not only just a bachelor degree, but now more women are getting masters. More women are getting
And
PhDs.
more Latinas are starting businesses.
and more Latinas are starting business. We are the fastest growing in those exact statistics. And so for many, and one of the other cool statistics that I have come to find to really be proud of is the Latino bloc is no longer an immigrant story. We are now naturally born citizens empowering this economy. Like there are more native born Latinos being born today than there are immigrants, and then there are more turning 18, going to college. So we are literally what the future workforce is going to be.
Well, right now, 2 out of every 10 women are Latinas. By the year 2060, 1 in every 4 women are projected to be Latinas. This is why they're scared of us.
There are a lot of reasons why they're afraid of us.
Yes.
But that's right. And I think for the way that it started for Savvy Ladies, right? A lot of our women stay in situations just to that point because they don't know that they can get out. Like I think about my mom and dad, and that's the story why they stayed together. My mom always said she couldn't make it out on her own. And then I think, and I'm like, but you were the money
But
maker
you
in this
did.
family. you could have. You could have just maybe it was an excuse because she takes real good care of my dad. So maybe it was just an excuse. You needed something to say. I couldn't make it on my own. But I do think there are a lot of women out there that stay, whether they stay either in bad marriages or they stay with a partner or they stay to help their family. They kind of shrink themselves to be able to meet the need of the family in the moment. But I'm here, and my passion is because I've done it. I think I have financial security for myself, and I'm then able to help my family. And I think that when we can start thinking that way of putting the mask on ourselves first and then helping the other person, and I think for women, it becomes a place where you don't have excuses anymore. There are no reasons to stay. There are only reasons that you can pick up and move on for yourself, and your kids will have a better future. Your whole family will benefit. One of the things my therapist always tells me is, just like a toxic person, whether they're on drugs or whatever their toxic nature is, negatively affects the family. Somebody who has a healthy existence, they positively affect the family. And I think for more women, and particularly Latinas, we need to start thinking of ourselves first, because we don't get trained to do that, right? We're selfish if we do that. But I think once you can really have that financial security, then you can replicate that more and more. And that's what Savvy Ladies is doing. And one of the biggest questions that always comes through is anxiety. I'm afraid. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know, and I don't know how to get out of this. I don't know how to, or even just like I just received a big check. I don't know what to do with this. They tell me I should invest it, but how should I do that?
Yes.
And so Savvy Ladies is here to be that guide for free, right? And I think for me, what really resonates with Savvy Ladies is it is a reputable organization with certified financial advisors that are not getting paid. They are volunteers themselves, and they're doing this because out of the goodness of their heart, they're giving their time, and they're not getting anything out of it other than just that volunteering desire. And you can trust that they're going to give you good advice. And it's hard out here to trust people with your money. And I think for me, that's front and center with Savvy Ladies.
Well, especially culturally, because the conversation around money is like shameful or it doesn't exist, right? I've shared this many times. Like people that listen to me, they know the story because it's like very common, very like it comes up for me.
Yeah.
Where my best friend, my best friend from college, white girl from the Midwest. We were casually talking, and she was like, "Yeah, because of your savings account." And I don't remember what the conversation was, right? Like, I'm 20, 19 years old. And she's like, "Yeah, you would just, like, get it from your savings." Oh, she meant, and I was like, "What?" And she's like, "From your savings account, because you'd have a checking account and you have a savings account." And I'm like, "I mean, I barely have a checking account. What you like, I know savings account exists, but what you mean for my savings?" You know? And she and I love her, but she, like, in her young selves, she was so confused, like, "So your parents didn't sit you down and tell you how to balance your checkbook and, like, make sure that you save 10% of the money that you," and I was like, "You're speaking a different language right now. What are you talking about? Like, sitting me down to talk about balance my checkbook? Like, I opened a checking account because US Bank was sitting outside of my classroom." Like, you know? And so, I think it starts from, like, that foundation of we don't even talk about money.
We don't.
And, and I see it with my clients who now my one-on-one clients are executives and, like, managers, high achievers, CEOs even, who are like, "I just got this," like, literally that story that you share, like, "I got this bonus, what do I do with it?" And I've sent them to savvy ladies, truly, because I'm like, I'm your coach, but you need a financial advisor for that.
Yes.
So, go talk to savvy ladies because um they have your best interest.
Yeah.
Like, they're not making money off of you, right? Like, so just, like, go and ask the question, and there's no shame around it, but even, like, the thought of, like, I'm going to go, like, expose myself that I have this amount of
Yeah.
money is, like, so frightening.
I mean, we come from that place or that culture. It's like you get money, you stash it under the mattress, and you don't
Yes.
tell anybody because you don't know what could happen. And
Malheureux.
but yeah, I mean, it's kind of real, like we're just, But I think and that's the number one. Well, not number one. There's a lot of priorities a savvy lady is trying to meet, but that is a priority of making it so common and eliminating that taboo or that shame of talking about finances and having that conversation over coffee or just at the table at the dinner table of like, hey, what goals are you having, for do you have any goals? And I think for savvy ladies, I mean, they look at you and your needs. And I think for me, what I've learned, financial education and goals are similar to if you work out. Like when you go talk to a trainer, they're going to ask you, what do you want to get out of this? Because
Yes.
they're so tailored to you. And that's literally everyone's conversation with your financial advisor or a financial advisor. It has to be tailored to you and what you want and want out of it.
Yes.
It doesn't work unless you are in that formula, because what works for me is not going to work for you, right? Our situations are so different. And so I think that's what makes a financial advisor a good start to begin that journey of learning and getting more information. And it's a partnership, right, of sort that you build with this financial advisor. And I hope that people can really find that in savvy ladies, of knowing like it's a safe place to go to ask all of the questions, because no one on that hotline or no one in the organization is judging you. It is a all woman. Well, I can't say all women, but it is majority women run. The board is majority women. We do have male board members because they understand it takes all of us. It's a community, but we're very focused on empowering all the women and that want to get their financial journey started, right? And you
Mm,
don't even have to talk to somebody immediately. You could just go to their website and they have modules or different training starts there. They like if you just want to learn about budgeting, they have a site, a module there that you can go a kind of a online class, and it's just reading,
yeah.
what it is. So there's just so much wealth of knowledge. And to me, I feel, again, like I can't say this enough, once you learn something, they can't take that away from you.
Yes.
And that's how you can keep building your future.
Yeah, and financial education is so, so, so important. And I have so many more questions, but we're out of time. But I do want to share this quick story because even like for me, it happened to me. So this is a personal story where I was talking to a financial planner and a white man. And he literally looked at me and he was like, so what he said something like, do you have any trusts or something about trusts?
Mm.
And I was like, what? And he just looked at me like, what do you mean you don't know what a trust and a bond and like all these like, and I was like, no, I don't. And he made me feel like I was this
Yeah.
tiny, because
Yeah.
he looked at me with so much like shame around it. Like, how dare you be at this level? Like, this is years ago, but still, like, I was kind of like getting actually, I think it's about 10 years ago. And but I was rolling over from like the whole thing doesn't matter, but the point is that I felt like I didn't wanna talk to anyone about it. It would just kinda, like, added on to the already cultural shame of we don't talk about money, and so then you encounter people that are like, "Oh, how dare you not know?" And so then it just adds on to it. So what you shared about Savvy Ladies and having people that know and understand that you may come from a place where maybe it's gonna be just hard to even start, but the fact that you have the courage to reach out, it's one step, is
Mhm.
big.
And I think that's why they invited me to be on the board, right? They understood that the Latino bloc is growing. There's this big engine of economic, future for the U.S. and the black also demographic, right? I think they're very focused on the communities that have been underserved for so long, that we're hungry for knowledge, we're hungry, and we're ready. I'm
And we're
talking
making
to,
money.
and we're making money, exactly, and that is who the people are, and that is who I hope hears that, hey, there's this a safe space. You don't have to be a billionaire already to start having this conversation. It starts small, a little bit goes a long way. And if you are just curious, just go to their website and start there,
Yeah,
because like that story that you said, it's a core memory that you have, and because it really affected you,
totally,
that we have those so many reoccurring stories with money, and that is why we're here. That I feel like that's why Savvy Ladies is here, because we want to change that narrative. We don't want you to have a negative feeling when you talk about money. We want you to be, instead of having anxiety, we want you to have peace. Maybe not because you're already fully financially stable, but because you have a pathway to get there.
totally.
That's really the goal of Savvy Ladies. And if I may, I also want to plug Savvy Ladies for those sponsors who are looking to invest in an organization and a not-for-profit who is doing really good work in a lot of different communities. And Savvy Ladies does a lot with a little bit of money,
Mhm.
and we're always looking for board members, and we're always looking for sponsors.
Yes, listeners, totally, and I think so because Savvy Ladies is one of my sponsors, so I know about the hotline, which they have a
Yes.
free hotline in inglés y en español, right?
Yes.
So send your mamas to it if, like, because I know there's also you don't want to have to, like, translate because that's also
That's
not
right.
our role.
That's
There's
right.
opportunities. So you can send them to the free hotline because it's something like I think about, for example, my mom, when she got a divorce,
Mhm.
like I didn't know about
Mhm.
Seven Ladies then, but if I did, I would be like, they can help you with what to do with like all the
Yes.
things.
And a lot of times, like, they are more candid with the stranger, right? Because it's like, oh, I can
Exactamente.
tell them this, right? And then they speak your language, so that's even more comfortable. Yes, absolutely.
Totally. So they have services in English and Spanish. The other thing is that you don't have to be at a specific level, which is
Nope,
also awesome. So you could be
that's right.
like, I just got my first job and I don't know how to allocate, like, what do I do with these coins that I'm getting?
Yep.
And for example, I work with several new millionaires even. So these are Latinas who are becoming millionaires first in their family because
That's
they
awesome.
are running these awesome businesses and they're like, I'm newly rich. So what do
Yeah.
I do with these
What do I
coins?
do?
And I'm like, well, let's work on your internal inner niña first, like,
Yes.
and then go talk to the financial people. But I think it's also so the point is that it doesn't matter what level you are in your money.
That's right. It doesn't. And there are more and more young people who just need to have a better relationship with money. And, you just got a job, you just got an internship, whatever it is, just talk to somebody.
Mm.
You don't know what you don't know. So you don't, and if you are a millionaire and or even close to that, right? Like there's always a strategy that you can refresh, and think it through. And Savvy Ladies
Mhm.
is there for you.
Totally. And even like dinks, right? Like a lot of my
Yes.
clients were dinks, dual income no kids. And they're like, which we didn't get to touch, but
Oh no.
maybe we'll bring you back. But it's also this like, well, I'm not saving for college for anyone. I'm not like where's my legacy going to go to? So
Yeah.
that's also something you talk about with a financial planner.
Abs- That's 100%. I think for me, that's another goal that I have to build out with Savvy Ladies is we have this growing demographic of single women with no kids or dual income with no kids, but it's the traditional advice that you would give people who have kids and they want to leave a legacy or they want to leave some wealth here. I am, I think, a very small minority in this, but I don't want to leave any wealth behind. I need a strategy that works with, I want every dollar to go to me. Maybe I'll leave a little something to somebody if they're nice to me.
Yeah.
But I want, but that's my own strategy, right? And that's
Yes.
what is important, to have those conversations. And we want to be able to have that started as soon as possible. So, Savvy Ladies.
And it's necessary because it's not like even you mentioned I'm a small percentage of the people, but it's still a percentage of people.
Yes, it's true. I have found others who are like me.
Totally. And it's worth like discussing.
Absolutely. Yes.
So Edna, we're out of time, sadly, but what legacy do you want to leave behind? Speaking of legacy.
I think for me, I want to leave behind that you don't have to conform. If your heart desires something different, go for what your heart desires. And I think I am the living proof of that. And I think I'm seeing that in reality more and more. And that's, I want to give myself to people in as much as whatever I know and have learned. I want to teach it to you so that you can go on and be great and do what you want. And so I think for me, my legacy is I want to see people and get to the heart of who they want to be, and be you. Don't be someone else. Don't live someone else's life. Live the one that you want to live.
Solid legacy. I love that. Do you have a remedio that you want to share with us?
You know, I, what is it? Manzanilla cures all. It cures a broken heart because just the scent of it when you're brewing it. It just always takes you back home. At least for me, it does.
Yes.
So the de manzanilla, I think it's like the cure all for all. And I know it's a very common one, so that's the one that I
That is a
usually.
good one. But manzanilla is
Yeah,
like magic.
it's magic, man.
Like I've used manzanilla for for my eyes. I've
Yeah,
used manzanilla for like a tummy ache, for a headache, for sleeping at like
for everything.
solid.
That's right. It's a good one.
The solid plantita. And the last question that I'll ask is what makes you do you have something on your desk or in your space that reminds you of your main character?
Ooh.
What gets you into like, I'm my main character today?
Oh, I. That's a good question. Do I have anything?
Like for me, it's my glasses, for example. Like I have so many different pairs of glasses, but once the glasses come on, I feel complete.
Okay, thank you for that example. Mine is my hair. I know it's little. It's if I have my hair down, I feel like I'm ready to play and just kind of, be chill mode, chill Edna. But if I have my hair back, slicked back in a bun, I'm like, work Edna. We're here to do the job. Let's get in, get out. I don't think people realize that, but yeah, my hair can tell my mood. So now
It
I'm giving
changes
myself
you.
away. Yeah, it does change
Wow.
me. Yeah. And then I have
love that.
naturally curly hair. So in the summers when I do wear it curly, it's my ultimate, like, we're here for summer, man. Like we're just gonna play.
Nice.
Yeah. So I would say it's my hair, my main character mode. Yeah.
Love that. Well, Edna, thank you so much for coming to Café con Pam. This was a lot of fun.
This was amazing. Thank you so much for having me, for having Savvy Ladies. We are so excited to work with you. And this was an amazing time. Thank you.
I don't know how Savvy Ladies found me, but I was so excited when they did.
Yeah. I was excited when they were like, Café con Pan. I'm like, yes, anything, any day, let's go. So, and whatever you need, if you ever need anything from me, I'm here.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, I do need, you haven't told us where to find you.
Oh, you can find me on LinkedIn, Edna Mariñelarena, on LinkedIn. You can shoot me an email if you have questions about Savvy Ladies or just want to chat about career. That is another one of my always. I want to be available to anybody that has questions, particularly if you're new and working in corporate America. Please reach out. I'm happy to have a chat. You're not alone. There are us out here who want to help.
Yes.
So yeah, LinkedIn.
Awesome. And we'll have the link in the show notes.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bueno, that was my entrevista con Edna Mariñelarena. I love saying her last name. And I am still thinking about all the things we talked about because there's a moment in the conversation, and maybe you felt it just like I did. Cuando Edna nos dice que she bought her parents a house before she ever bought one for herself. I asked her, was it love or was it obligation? And the pause that she gave us, she said, I wish I could say it was just pure love, but through therapy, I realized it was guilt. And I want us to process this moment together because that is real. And we all know that doesn't come easy to acknowledge. And this is why, hey, therapy works. We are big fans of therapy. Go to therapy, everyone. Because when we are the people with bodies that have carried all of those beliefs and all of those stories, and we've carried them because we've been explicitly told that our sacrifice is the proof of our gratitude, that what we build should flow outward first, and then if there's anything left, maybe you can give a little bit to yourself. What I heard in Edna's story is what I hear over and over and over in nuestra comunidad, that invisible tax that first-generation Latinas pay, financially, of course, pero with their energy, our time, and our desires. Edna nos lo contó súper simple. She said, I made decisions that took away from my own desires. And then she spent years in therapy learning how to undo that. Then she sat here and told the truth about it, which is like amazing. Like, I wonder how her inner niña felt when she was like, you know what? I see you. The other thing that at the end of the conversation she said is she wants to leave behind the idea that you don't have to conform. That if your heart desires something different, you can go for it. And she said, I am leaving now proof of that because she is making choices for her life by working in one of the most traditional industries in the world. She sits on the board of an organization that fights for every woman's right to know how their money works. And that is not a small thing. Like, I think about how not long ago, women couldn't even open a bank account. It wasn't until 1974 that a woman in the United States couldn't walk into a bank by herself and say, I need to have my own money. She needed a brother, a husband, or a father. 1974. Wild. And now Edna gets to live a life built on her terms, slowly, one negotiated offer letter at a time. And I think that is our invitation this episode. Because the relationship that we have with money is not one that gets fixed overnight. The relationship that we have with money is one that gets nurtured and grows, and we get to fulfill our desires slowly but surely. And we get to ask, when do I get to claim my story? Because why not? So if this conversation moved you, por favor, share with a woman in your life who handles everyone's finances. Maybe that who shares everything, and at the end of the day, she doesn't get to buy herself a lip gloss because she just maybe doesn't have enough after she gave everything out. Or maybe the person that hasn't started her own retirement account yet. Send it to your prima who just bought her first house, or to your amiga that got her offer letter and maybe she's doubting about negotiating. Of course, tag us on all the socials. Edna said she wants to hear from you, so definitely reach out. And if you want to take your next step with your financial journey, head over to savvyladies.org. Check out their free helpline, free resources, advisors that help you in Inglés y en Español. You don't have to know what you're doing to show up. And that is actually the point. Bueno, como siempre, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening, for choosing to grow with me, for letting this conversation remind you that wanting things for yourself is not selfish. That's the point. I don't take your ears for granted. Muchas gracias. Nos vemos la próxima semanita. Y como siempre, sigue brillando. Café con Pam is created con mucho amor by our small but mighty team. Content production by Nancy Jaimes. Podcast management by Maru Linardi. Social media and marketing by Brenda Figueroa. And me, your host, Pam Covarrubias. To keep the cafecito brewing and the healing flowing, join the Supporters Club for only $5 a month and access early episodes, behind-the-scenes vibes, and exclusive minisodes you won't hear anywhere else. Screenshot this episode and tag me and share what resonated. I love seeing your takeaways. Follow on your favorite podcast platform and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's keep the conversation going with us on social media at Café con Pan Podcast, because your voice always matters there. We love being on Instagram and Facebook. Gracias for listening to Café con Pan, a Spread Ideas Move People production. For more episodes, guest info, or resources, visit cafeconpam.com. And if you're healing from calladita culture and don't know where to start, you can take the quiz. cafeconpam.com/quiz for tia wisdom and cariño just for you.
Sabrosura pa' ti que